Hello, baseball fans. Hope everybody's doing awesome out there, staying safe. Haven't hit like or subscribe? Please do so. Really appreciate your support. Best way you can help me out is by hitting like or subscribe, and have prizes for subscribers, so you're going to be able to get in on that as well. So, back from taking a week off, and some of the questions that I got while I was off, and the biggest one, will there be any big trades before the MLB spring training starts? And I suspect no. Specifically, a player like Brian Reynolds will be moved probably closer to the All-Star break. But it doesn't mean that there could be some minor moves that are done or backup players. And when I say backup players, from a Blue Jays perspective, that would be somebody like Santiago Espinal or perhaps Kevin Biggio. Players that are suspected to be bench players, but still impactful for the Jays' run. But we're not talking about the Jays. We're going to talk about two other teams in a trade proposal that I heard that I really liked. And it involves the Los Angeles Angels and the Baltimore Orioles. That's right. And if we're talking about the Angels, everybody knows I'm going to bring up Jo Adell. Yeah, I've been waiting a while to do a Jo Adell vlog, so it's time to get into it. If you look at Jo Adell last year, he went for a negative 0.5 WAR, 224 average. In fact, this guy has a lifetime negative WAR, 1.7, never a good thing, and a 215 average. But to be fair, he's never had a full shake, and he's had some time adjusting to the majors. And that's why some people have suggested a change of scenery for Jo Adell might be a good thing. And this might be the last opportunity for the Angels to really trading him away for any type of impact player. And if we're looking at an impact player that the Angels could certainly use on their roster, if they're going to be competitive with Ohtani and Trout and really maybe try to make the playoffs for once, the player that continuously gets brought up for a trade for Jo Adell is nobody else but Jorge Mateo. That's right. And it would be Jo Adell plus prospects. We'll get into that because there's certainly an uneven level, trading level field for this trade. And what do I mean by that? Let's look at Jorge Mateo and what he did last year with the Orioles. Really impressive, and one of the reasons why the Orioles went on that strength. This guy had an impressive 3.4 WAR and a 221 average. And you might say, he has such a low average and low production. How does he have such a high WAR? Well, like players like Matt Chapman, superior defense. However, with the Baltimore Orioles, they have some of their top prospects that are going to be coming up this season, and that might offset somebody like Jorge. He might end up being a bench player. And I know some people have said, well, the Orioles want to have a run. It's a little bit premature for that. Let's let these prospects come up, like Henderson, who will take Mateo's spot. And maybe, just maybe, the Orioles could make a trade for that surplus, Jorge, to get a piece that might establish them in their future run. And that's what Jo Adell could do. In essence, he'd be a bit of a lottery ticket, but it comes down to how long you would have Jo Adell for. If they made that trade, the Orioles would actually have Jo Adell until 2027 before they'd have to sign him an extension, trade him away, he'd become a free agent, whatever would happen. But it keeps him for those years 25, 26, 27, where I think the Baltimore Orioles will start to be very competitive and, yeah, a threat to maybe the Blue Jays, Yankees, and Tampa Bay. So by making this trade, if Jo Adell pays off, could be huge for the Orioles. And Mateo can trade him away, get somebody like Jo Adell and some awesome prospects or a prospect from the Angels. That's a win for Baltimore. And having somebody like this really shores up some deficits for the Angels. Let's face it, the Orioles need help in outfield. Jo Adell could do that. The Angels need some increased defensibility for their infield, and that's something that Jorge could do. Great trade on both ends. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think the Angels and Orioles could pull this off? Do you like it? Do you think Odell will finally get moved out of Los Angeles? Always appreciate to hear what you have to say. More importantly, I hope everybody stays safe out there, and we'll ramble on soon. Take care, guys.